Welcome to Astro-Weatherman. Hello, weather watchers, and welcome to Astro-Weatherman, where we study how the planets in our solar system affect weather patterns here on the Earth, an ancient science known as astrometeorology, the astrology of weather. Okay, today is Friday, January the 6th, and it's the first full moon of 2023. Okay, now this full moon period is going to last from Friday, January the 6th, all the way until Friday, January the 13th. And we're going to be studying throughout this lunar week what the planets are doing to the weather in North America, Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Now, if you don't want to watch the entire video, you can go to the description box below, click on the time frame where your country is, and it will take you directly to that portion of the video. Now, on an astrological side note, Mercury is currently in retrograde. What does that mean? When Mercury goes in retrograde, don't be surprised if there are some oddities with communications. There could be miscommunications, crossed wires, delays, and problems with technology and or transportation. All right. So don't be surprised if you're going to get some curveballs during the Mercury retrograde periods. Just go with the flow. And now Mercury retrograde does last until January the 19th. All right. So once again, don't be surprised if some of these things happen a lot more frequently than is typical. All right. So let's get started and see what the planets are doing to this lunar week's weather, the full moon of January 2023. Okay, so let's begin with Western Canada, and we'll start off with the West Coast and BC. And let's see what's going on, what planets are affecting you guys this lunar week. So we're going to start with this guy right up here, and that is Saturn. Okay, now he is going to have a major influence for the majority of British Columbia. And unfortunately, Saturn is not a great planet. Saturn brings with it lower temperatures and plenty of moisture and can bring lots of storm systems. So BC, unfortunately, I think for most of this lunar week, and that's pretty much the majority of this week, I think is just going to be all really, I think cooler, cloudier, with plenty of showers and or rain, and at times heavy. So it looks like it's going to be a bit of a no, I don't think it's going to be coming down too much as snow in terms of the West Coast. I think it's going to be more in terms of showers and rain. Now, higher elevations and inland, I think it will come down as snow. So that's where you guys are going to get greater accumulations. So just be aware of that. Okay, so that's BC for this entire week. Next, let's move on to Alberta. And here we have actually very positive weather yet again this upcoming week. And we have this pairing here, and that's the sun and the moon. Now, because right now the sun and the moon are in opposition, meaning the moon is in full phase. So basically, it's reflecting all the light from the sun. And so that means the moon is actually going to be much warmer and drier this during this time of the month. So that basically means for Alberta, we've got lots of positive weather coming up for this week. I think we're going to have lots of sunshine. You're going to see temperatures which are going to be fairly mild. I think at the very least seasonable to above seasonable temperatures, and I don't think there's going to be much in the way of moisture. I think it's going to be fairly dry most of the week. If there are any passing flurries or even showers, that wouldn't amount to much of anything, but I don't think so. I think it'll be mostly sunny, dry week with plenty of pleasant weather. The only one thing here is Mercury to the north. Now, this guy right here, even though he's a positive planet typically, Mercury can definitely bring winds to the northern parts of the province, especially the northeastern. So the winds could be stronger up there, but that's all. Otherwise, a very nice, pleasant week of weather, I think, for most of Alberta. All right, so, well, we've got lots of stuff going on for Saskatchewan and Manitoba. Now, Saskatchewan is sort of not bad, but so this is Mercury. It's going to be fairly strong for mid to upper parts of the province, and we got sun down here. All right, so what does this mean? I think overall, Saskatchewan, you're going to have a fairly nice week of weather as well. So we're going to give you guys a nice check mark for, I think, quite a few sunny days. It'll be windier, however. You'll have a mix of sun and clouds, and I think overall it will be drier. So I think you can expect some fairly nice weather, especially in the south, um, southern parts of the province, and especially southwest. I think towards the mid to northern regions, it will be colder. So sunnier, but colder, and again with those stronger winds. But otherwise, not bad days at all. The north, we've got Pluto, so we do have to watch out. We'll have some storm systems coming more towards the north and more snow that way. So we're starting to see the transition of weather the further east that we go. Manitoba, you've got a whole mess of stuff going on, and these planets are not the greatest. So you're going to have a bit of a mixed bag of weather, actually. You're going to have Neptune, which is right up here, and you're going to have Pluto affecting you guys. You're also going to have some nice weather in terms of Jupiter that will be affecting some parts of the province. So you've got this mishmash of stuff going on. All in all, Pluto is cold, Neptune is mild. Jupiter is mild. So you got a couple of milder planets that are hitting you. So I think temperatures will be seasonable for you guys to maybe slightly below seasonable. And so I think in that sense, it's going to be good. So I'll give you guys sort of one green line for positive weather, but with Pluto running around, it's also going to bring some periods of maybe colder weather with passing flurries or snow. Maybe even a storm system could be coming in. Neptune can definitely bring some, and Pluto both can bring moisture. So just be aware of that. So you guys are going to have a bit of a mixed bag week. Again, temperatures might not be that bad, generally speaking, although, oops, wrong color. Although you could be getting some colder influxes. So don't be surprised. And overall, you're going to have sort of some dry days, but intermixed with some scattered flurries. And so this is why I think you guys are going to have sort of a mixed bag type of a week. All right, let's go to Ontario. Now, Ontario, you guys are going to start off with, and with a major player, planet-wise, is going to be Pluto right down here. And Pluto, again, likes cold and storms and wetter weather. You do have Jupiter up north, and it's going to be affecting you guys, bringing some more positive weather, I think, more towards the beginning part of the week. We have Venus down here, which can bring more wet weather. So overall, we've got Jupiter and Venus, which is warmer. So temperatures, I think, are going to be warmer, with maybe a cold influx towards later in the lunar week. Um, and I think more of the moisture will come possibly towards the mid to later part of the lunar week. So that could be from anywhere from Tuesday, most likely Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that could be when we could see some sort of polar event happen, or snow could definitely come, or a storm system. So again, sort of, I'll give you guys a mixed bag forecast as well, because sort of oops, sorry, we'll give you a mixed weather forecast where you're going to have some positive, sunny, warm weather. Temperatures, I think, are going to be milder than seasonable to maybe above seasonal temperatures, especially more, I think, towards the first part of the week, the first half of the week. But then you've got maybe some snow, wintry weather, or storms that could come towards later part of the lunar week. So we're going to give you guys, some good news um, with Jupiter, but we're also going to give you some not great news with Pluto and Venus. Again, more towards the end of the lunar week. So mixed bag that way. Okay, so let's get to Quebec. Whoa, where did that come from? There we go. Okay, so Quebec. All right. So it's in between two planets here, and the major player is going to be Saturn right up here. Saturn's aura is going to definitely be affecting you guys, and Venus down here as well, which Venus can bring some warmer weather. Saturn definitely much colder. So I think that weather, temperature-wise, first of all, is going to be you're going to have some seasonable days, no doubt, but I think the temperature can really begin to drop, especially towards the end of the week. So, and Saturn again loves to bring storms. So just be on the lookout for Saturn bringing in some stormy weather towards the end of the lunar week. Colder, um, and snow. And now Venus definitely brings moisture as well. So I think generally Quebec, again, I think you're going to have some nice weather um, in terms of temperatures, but I think it'll be off and off snow flurries throughout most of the week. Um, all right, there you go. And Maritimes, you guys, same thing. You're going to be under Saturn's influence. Um, so right there, Venus will give a little bit, even though it's further away. But so all in all, I think it'll be a colder week of weather for you guys, generally speaking. Um, temperatures. Well, Venus might warm things up a little bit, so it might be just below seasonable. Um, Cooler nonetheless. I think towards the end of the week, there could be some storm systems that are happening. So watch for winter storms, especially towards mid to the end of the next lunar week. But I think you're going to have off and off flurries and or moisture coming in and out. So all in all, I'm just going to give you guys a cooler, wetter forecast week uh, of weather. All right, there you go. That is Canada. So let's check out the United States and see what the planets are doing down there. Okay, USA. Let's see what is going on with the planets and your weather. Okay, we're going to start here on the West Coast, and it's already not looking good again. We've got stormy planet Saturn off the West Coast, and the closer you guys are to Saturn, the worse the weather tends to get. All right, colder temperatures, cloudy days. typically stormy, and definitely can bring plenty of moisture. So expect showers at the least. Rain is typical and sometimes heavy. So watch for Saturn, and Saturn is going to affect, I'd say, a good chunk of the west coast, especially. But we have the further east you go, and we're going to look at that in a minute. The further east you go, the drier it starts to get. Um, so I think Saturn has the potential to affect this region. Now this is where it gets a bit tricky because um, I think once we hit sort of mid California, that's where the weather begins to shift. Um, and they'll get the mixed bag type of weather. Although I definitely think that Saturn is particularly going to be affecting um, this area, this portion. And so be on the lookout again for another week of heavy rain, storms, and colder weather. Okay, especially that area. Now, the further east you go, sorry, we have a couple different planets. Now, here we have one that the one of the major players, which is Neptune, but we have some very positive planets also affecting this big trio up here. We got Mars way down in the western Pacific area. And so what's going to happen? Now, this is where the weather begins to shift. We see these guys bringing sun moon combination will bring very pleasant warmer temperatures, drier conditions. Mars will affect things down here. So it can start to bring warmer, drier air as well. Now you have bad weather planet um, Neptune, which is also going to want to bring in its fair share of not nice weather. But problem is, we've got a grand majority of planets which are drier. Now, I don't think it's going to be like too warm. I think it'll be more seasonable um, temperatures for this entire area. Um, Moisture, I think there could be scattered moisture. I think the further south you go, so down into Texas, maybe, southern Texas especially. But other than that, if there's any moisture that would come, it would be scattered more than anything. So I think all in all, I'm, gonna give you guys generally positive weather. Especially, oops, sorry, we're gonna give you guys generally positive weather for this entire I think region. And I'm thinking it's stretching, all the way through all the way up to here actually. So yeah, um, good. So I think you can expect a dry, oh, and in Southern California too. I think they are going to be generally nice. They're going to have generally nice conditions as well. Um, all right. So let's give you guys a big old nice check mark, positive thumbs up for weather, generally speaking. Mm, the only thing that I would be concerned about is maybe Neptune um, coming in uh, and doing its thing. Probably maybe midweek next week, there could be some scattered showers, rain, or snow, depending on how north you are. So snow more in the north, flurries, and more rain and showers to the south. But I think generally it should be a nicer week of weather. Mm, so if any rain does come or snow, I think it'll be more towards the later part of next week. Okay. Um, so that's it. So it's looking pretty darn good for a good chunk, except the upper northwest down through, the west coast regions, especially all the way down to I think mid California. Now, it might extend LA, and San Diego might, Saturn's reach might get down there as well, but I don't think so. All right. So there we go. Now let's move on to um, the more eastern regions of the country. And again, we have a lot of positive weather, generally speaking. All right, let's start with good news. Jupiter, which is right there. That's that pink line. And we got all this positive trio down here. We got the one negative planet, Pluto. Mm, and all right. So again, generally speaking, we've got more positives than negatives. So I think this entire region, um, generally speaking, we can expect some really, a really positive week of weather, I think, overall. The only caveat to that, I think, is towards the end of the week. And that was where Pluto will come along. Um, I think there could be some scattered showers or thunder showers towards the south into Florida. Maybe windier than normal, but I think overall drier than normal. And I think seasonable to above seasonable temperatures. The only concern, um, and again, I just mentioned that was Pluto, but I think Jupiter will bringing in positive. This tree will be bringing in positive energy, but Pluto will be bringing in some harsher energy, maybe towards the mid to the end of next week. So maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We'll see. But that's where weather could become more unstable. So there could be more snow, flurries of snow towards the north, and more rain and showers or storms towards the south. But again, overall, I think it should be a fairly pleasant week of weather for that entire region of the country. All right. Now up here, now in this area, we've got the upper northeast. Okay, we've got Venus, which is going to be affecting a big chunk of, and it, Venus is generally mm, uh, pleasant when it comes to temperatures. So I don't think it's going to be that cold. We've got stormy planet Saturn. Um, Up here, we've got mixed weather planet Uranus. So all in all, gonna, how are we gonna call this? All right. So I think the upper northeast is going to be we'll give it sort of a nice green rating for weather in terms of the temperatures are going to be nicer. So that will be so from seasonable to above seasonable. But with Venus, it doesn't go too hot, so I'll keep it around seasonable temperature, so average. In terms of moisture, I think there will be some scattered moisture, but that could happen more towards the end of the week again. So this is why we're going to give you sort of a little bit of a negative rating as well. So we're going to give you guys a mixed bag, just because towards the end of the week, we'll see what happens. And yeah, so let's say we're going to give you guys a check mark, and we're going to give you guys an X just cuz it's going to be, I think overall the beginning of the week, the first half of the week is going to be fairly nice and pleasant about, seasonable temperatures. And there could be some scattered moisture maybe, but I think generally it should be a pleasant week of weather. Um, all right. Now, again, and coming back just quickly to this region, and the only thing that concerns me is Pluto. And again, with Pluto, we always have to put the, oops, wrong color. We have to put the warning out with Pluto because it can bring storms. So watch it for the end of the week, um, midweek next week. So again, generally, so again, we're going to say again, this region, generally positive, um, generally positive weather. Um, but we're going to have to give it that little mixed bag rating with Pluto, just because we have to be careful with Pluto. So you know what? Um, we're going to kind of change this up a little bit and give you sort of a mixed bag, just to be on the safe side, because um, I'm hoping that this week the majority will be just a beautiful week of weather overall, with some scattered moisture here and there. But with Pluto, we'll just give the little warning there. Okay, and that's it. And that is the United States. So let's see what's going on with Mexico. Okay, Mexico, let's see what the planets are doing to your weather. All right, well, not much to talk about actually. And here's why. I think for the most part, the majority of the country is going to be under a fairly nice system of weather, nice weather pattern. All right, let's take a look and see. Now we've got the big negative planet Neptune, that's going right straight to the middle. So you think, well, if that's, big negative, well, it's going to be a lot of bad weather. Well, not so much, and I'll tell you why. This is where it gets a little bit interesting. Not complicated, but interesting. We have a very positive weather planet Mars way off to the Western Pacific, but the this creates an interesting connection between the faraway planet Neptune. Mars is going to be actually a strong player here. And we have this quadruple bunch of planets, very positive, that you've got Sun, Moon, Jupiter. Again, Moon in this time is positive during full moon periods when it makes connections with the Sun. Um, because typically the moon is wet and cold and, but during full moon times, when it's making a strong connection with the sun, it becomes a lot warmer and a lot drier. Okay, so how's this going to work? Well, you have Neptune that wants to bring in cooler, more humid, more challenging weather. Okay, so it wants to do that, um, but here's the thing, it's battling against a couple of different systems. Mars is coming in um, from the west, and this grouping of Sun, Moon, Jupiter is coming in from the east. So it's a two-on-one battle here, and it's going to be hard for Neptune to bring any moisture during this time frame, because Neptune, while it wants to bring more clouds and rain and showers, it's battling against some very dry elements coming, sort of coming at it from two different directions. So there's a tag team of positive planets that are really kind of squeezing Neptune out. So this is why I think most of Mexico, the majority of Mexico, I think are, um, is going to be very, very positive in terms of weather. I think, oops, sorry, wrong function. Um, I think really the brunt of Mexico is going to be generally very, very positive. I think it's going to be dry, warm, well, hot, especially hot and humid in on the coastal regions. Inland is where I think um, so right where Neptune is, Neptune could cool things off a little bit. All right. But I think along the coastal areas, it'll be very hot and very dry. Whereas in central regions, it could be cool and humid. But I don't think there's gonna be any moisture showers or anything of that nature. So, okay, overall, I think the majority of Mexico is going to be very positive in terms of weather. Now, even though the moon is connecting with the sun, and it's positive during this time of the month, the further south you go towards the equator, the moon's moisture does tend to pick up. So there could be some scattered showers or thunder showers, I think towards, this region, towards the Yucatan Peninsula region. But again, it's not going to be bad. I think it'll be scattered showers or thunder showers towards that region. But again, um, overall, I think it's going to be very positive. So, um, yeah, maybe a mixed bag of weather there for most of the week. But I think the majority of the week for Mexico, we're talking plenty of sunshine, plenty of warmth, heat, um, especially along the coastal regions, maybe cooler inland towards central regions. Um, and that's it. There you go. That's Mexico. All right. Okay, there you have it. The astrometeorology forecast for the first full moon of 2023. All right, hopefully you can join us for the next video, which will be the last quarter moon for January, and that will be on January the 14th. So we look forward to having you for our next video. All right, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to be a part of this channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon if you would like notifications as to upcoming videos. All right. Thank you all for watching. See you soon.